No Game No Life, an anime I can't help but anticipate simply because it's being made by a studio that has my utmost trust. That studio being Madhouse. And now to actually talk about the show, No Game No Life revolves around Zora and Shiro, who are siblings that both live the life of a NEET together. They're gamers who are lost in their own reality and have originated multiple rumors on the internet of their mad gamer skills. I don't know what that was. What was that? I'm sorry. But one day, they're summoned to a mysterious alternate world by a person who calls himself God. In this bizarre and mystifying world, everything is decided by games instead of violence to solve the disputes of this land. And from what I've seen, everything appears to be vibrant with vivid color and emotion that establishes the unique atmosphere of the show to be playful and jovial. Everything about it appears to be absolutely appealing in terms of the tone, characters, and story. I believe it's just going to be one heck of an outrageous ride that I don't want to miss. I guess we'll just have to wait and see if our unlikely pair of protagonists can be the saviors of this unique world. You know that fantastic show, Sakura Trick, that's all about Yuri? Well, let's combine Sakura Trick with Kill la Kill's flashy action scenes and create Akuma no Riddle. The anime set at a private girls' boarding school, where 12 assassins are attempting to take out a young girl named Haru. One of the assassins named Azuma, who is also targeting Haru, ends up developing feelings for this cute girl she's supposed to murder. I'm hoping the relationship between the two overshadows the action and fabricates a beautiful bond between them as they go through the endeavor of surviving the other assassin's aim of taking away Haru's life. There's no guarantee that the relationship will develop that far, but I can still look forward to some awesome action at the least. And regardless of what Akuma no Riddle delivers, Yuri is still saving anime. Mahoko Koko no Redisai, another Madhouse anime. And you know, perhaps I'm putting too much faith into Madhouse, but it's difficult not to when they made such amazing anime such as Kaiji, Chihayafuru, the currently airing Hunter x Hunter, and just so many more that I can't even possibly name them all. It's also just not my trust for Madhouse that has me expecting some greatness from this anime because it does look rather interesting in itself. It's about a world where magic that fuels supernatural powers has become a technology. Those born with these skills must attend magic high schools and universities. Now, that isn't particularly an original concept, but from what I've seen, it gives the impression that it's going to be different than all the other magical high school anime that we've already seen. The short preview illustrated a euphoric atmosphere that vividly produces a refreshing world. I'm also expecting it to have some very satisfying fight scenes that'll be wonderfully animated by Madhouse as they always do. The potential's infinite, and I'm sure it won't disappoint. Utsugi no Chaika appears to be one of those shows where its world is materialized by the characters and their actions. This series is about Toru Akira, who's a 20-year-old retired soldier who's lost all meaning to his life. But by chance, he runs into a strange girl who calls herself Chaika, and he decides to blindly follow her in hopes of finding what he's lost from his dull and boring life. And now, this premise sounds very similar to many other shows that have failed to reach the potential that was possible from this premise, but I'm expecting Hitsugi no Chaika to firmly grasp that potential and use its untouched elements to create what all of those other shows failed to make a proper foundation for. But you know, I'm gonna be honest and level with you guys. It's an adorable lolly with an enormous gun, of course I'm gonna be excited for it, and I hope that it emerges as what I want it to be. Hitsugi no Chaika bred my admiration to the fullest, and I'm going to continue to be enthusiastic about my speculations. Love it or hate it, Fairy Tail is coming back this spring with a new and improved style. Hopefully it's still similar to the art design that I know and love, but I haven't been able to find many screenshots of it, sadly. I also can find much information regarding whether or not it's a full reboot of the entire series, or if it's continuing from where it left off in the tournament art. I'm highly hoping it's a continuation and not a full reboot of the entire series, because although it may fix some of the huge pacing issues that it originally had, I honestly don't know how I'd feel about rewatching the entire series from the beginning again. It's not as though continuing from where it left off is a particularly good thing either. I mean, the entire reason it was cancelled shortly was because it was catching up to the manga. It's nowhere near as close as it was before, but it's still relatively close. Thus, there's going to be boring filler galore. Regardless, Fairy Tail and its countless flaws still manage to utterly entertain me every week. Fairy Tail's charm of a nostalgic tale of magic is absolutely delightful and relaxing. The positive vibe and lightheartedness of the series truly captivated me and always contrived me to watch that next episode. It hasn't been very long, but welcome back, Fairy Tail. Yes, the second season of Date A Live. I guess that means I should prepare my mind to be enriched by glorious plot, with a side of wonderful character development. All jokes aside, Date A Live, the show that shouldn't be taken too seriously and simply enjoyed for the fun and thrills that it delivers. It revolves around Shido as he attempts to defeat invading space entities that may or may not be cute girls. Thankfully, all Shido has to do is kiss them. Not too difficult, right? Well, I guess it's a tad bit difficult when you're getting all your advice and guidance from Yuramoto. Truly the best type of storytelling that's made it into the best harem comedy I've had the pleasure of viewing in a long time. And now, if there's anything that Date A Live prevails at, it's just how absurd it can truly be, and I absolutely adore it. Haikyuu, the perfect anime to fill the void that Kuroko no Basket is going to leave when it ends. And thankfully, Haikyuu is starting just as Kuroko ends. And it's also being produced by Production IG, who are also the producers of Kuroko, so they may be attempting to emulate the success of Kuroko with another intense sports anime, and at the same time also appealing to the Fujoshi fandom. And it's not as though that's a bad thing, since they have proven that they have the ability to create immensely entertaining sports anime such as Kuroko. And well, to talk about Haikyuu, it's centered around volleyball, an unusual sport that I haven't seen myself done before in anime. And it being uncommon is what has me pretty excited for it, because seeing something new and not generic is noteworthy in itself. I absolutely cannot wait to see the ridiculous and unbelievable moves that are going to emerge from this hopefully amazing series. I can't wait to see the outrageously unrealistic aspects of this series thrive and capture the spirit of volleyball just as it did with basketball, karate, and just about every other sport as well. Sports anime are just always unrivaled in terms of entertainment, and are impossible not to look forward to. Makaku City Actors, an anime that source material was birthed from a series of Vocaloid songs from the Kagero project. And whether or not you're a fan of Vocaloid, I'm sure that this show is going to have a beautifully orchestrated soundtrack that's going to define the premise of itself with its own fluid melodies. These alluring songs that are going to be crafted by Jin are going to be blended with Shaft's unique and ravishing art style to establish a distinct tone that only Shaft can devise with their onslaught of colors. The story itself is about Shintaro, a hikikomori who was at the top of his school but dropped out after a close friend of his committed suicide. And after 2 years of being a NEET, a mysterious software named NA enters his computer. This puzzling software that comes in the form of a young girl disrupts his lifestyle to the point of forcing him to go outside for the first time in 2 years. This may seem like a show that's not going to go anywhere with this type of story, but assuming that the amazing character interactions from the manga stay as are, it will be absolutely superb. Its dazzling characters are going to be what makes this one of the most entertaining shows of the spring season. Combining the characters, the music that's being composed by Jin, and Shaft's striking visuals, it's building up to be what I expect to be one of the most impressive shows of the spring season. Black Bullet reminds me of one of those anime that pressures you to watch the next episode despite your responsibilities and obligations, because you're just so ecstatic to watch it and see what it throws at you next. I took a small peek at the source material out of curiosity, and the feeling that manifested within me can be best described as love at first sight. This burning flame that was created within me was only strengthened when I learned that Masayuki Kojima will be holding the reins as the director. Kojima directed one of the best thrillers in existence, Monster. Kojima has my wholehearted faith that he'll add Black Bullet to his list of achievements. And you know, I should probably start actually talking about the premise of the show instead of just fanboying about who's making it. But, you know how it is, it's just difficult not to be hype. Black Bullet takes place in a world where humanity is no longer the dominant species after being overpowered by the viral parasites known as Gastrea. This virus enters the human body through bodily fluids, if you catch my drift, and alters the victim's form. The remaining population that's still alive is forced to live in a small territory fearing for their lives every day. Our protagonists are Rentaro, a young boy a part of an organization called Civil Security, who specialize in fighting against the Gastrea. The other protagonist is Enju, yet another lolly protagonist. Man, this season just loves me. You know, what's the lolly protagonist counter up to by now? 3? 4? Well, these two pair up and have the important mission of preventing the destruction of Tokyo. I can't possibly be more excited for what Black Bullet's offering, and genuinely hope that it meets my expectations of breathtaking magnificence. Regardless of how it turns out, this burning sensation isn't going out anytime soon. I truly wish that I had the ability to describe my feelings of Mushishi getting another season, but sadly, simple words cannot convey the happiness I felt when this was announced. I'll do my best to convey it through the failure of my words though. Mushishi, a series that's beauty can't be compared to anything else. The vast world it fabricates is a land that is refined by the calm and serene tone that it has. You're immersed into the tranquil world it's built. You're projected into the eerie and ominous world with your senses being squeezed tightly by the wonder of it all. This world was constructed to center around Ginko, our lovable guide to this engrossing world. Ginko is a researcher who travels from town to town, investigating the phenomenon known as Mushi. The Mushi are these strange creatures that take many odd forms, and are not enemies to the humans, but simply beings attempting to survive. Ginko helps solve any problems he encounters between any humans and Mushi, and that's mostly what the story revolves around. Although the exploration of Mushishi's world with Ginko is an amazing spectacle in itself, it's also its downfall because it lacks an overarching plot and is episodic. Every tale it masterfully tells is skillfully crafted with emotion radiating from its core. Whether or not its episodic storytelling is a fault is up to preference. For my opinion on it though, the positives of its episodic format heavily outweigh the negatives. Mushishi is profoundly flawless in almost every aspect, and I highly encourage you to go watch the first season in preparation of its sequel that's coming out nearly 8 years later. Hey guys, Glenn here, and I just wanted to remind you that you can watch all of these anime simulcasted on Crunchyroll once they start airing. There's a 2-week free trial down below in the description if you want to do that, and also I made a Facebook. I know, it took me long enough, but whatever. Please go like it or whatever you do on Facebook. This has been Glenn, and thanks for watching.